Welcome to our third lesson on spiritual disciplines. Today, we're exploring a practice that's often neglected in contemporary Christianity, but prominently featured in Scripture: the discipline of fasting. Fasting involves voluntarily abstaining from food, or sometimes other things, for spiritual purposes. It is a powerful discipline with deep biblical roots. In Matthew 6:16 through 18, Jesus says, "When you fast, don't look somber like the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others they're fasting. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face so that it will not look obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen. And your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you openly." Notice, Jesus doesn't say if you fast, but when you fast, assuming this is going to be part of his followers' spiritual practices. At the same time, he emphasizes the heart behind the fasting. It's not for public display, but for deepening our relationship with God. Think about hunger as a notification system. When your stomach growls, it's sending an alert. Time to eat. In fasting, we intentionally transform these physical notifications into spiritual reminders. Each hunger pain becomes a prompt to pray, to remember our deeper hunger for God and recall our dependence on Him, more than on food. Why practice fasting? Well, first, fasting expresses and deepens our hunger for God. In Psalm 42:1-2, David declares, "As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you. My God, my soul thirsts for God, the living God." Fasting helps us recognize and cultivate this spiritual hunger that often gets dulled by our material satisfaction. Second, fasting humbles us and reveals our dependencies. In Ezra 8:21, the people proclaimed a fast to humble ourselves before God. When we fast, we quickly discover how dependent we are on food for comfort, energy, and emotional stability. This awareness of physical dependence reminds us of our deeper spiritual dependence on God. Third, fasting heightens spiritual sensitivity. Many believers report clearer spiritual insights, more focused prayer, and greater receptivity to God's voice during fasting. As physical distractions diminish, spiritual realities often become more pronounced. Acts chapter 13, verse 2 describes the early church as fasting and seeking God's guidance, and that led them to a pivotal missionary movement. Fourth, fasting accompanies earnest prayer in times of special need. Throughout Scripture, God's people fast when seeking breakthrough, direction, protection, or spiritual revival. In 2 Chronicles 20, verse 3, King Jehoshaphat proclaimed a fast when facing a vast enemy army. Fasting doesn't manipulate God, but expresses the urgency and sincerity of our prayers. How should you practice fasting? If you're new to this discipline, start small. Try skipping a single meal and using that time for prayer instead. As you become comfortable, you might attempt a sunrise to sunset fast, or a 24-hour fast from after dinner one day until dinner the next. Always drink plenty of water during any fast. Those with medical conditions that make fasting from food unsafe can practice partial fasts, eliminating certain foods or meals, or non-food fasts, abstaining from media, technology, or other regular activities for spiritual purposes. The heart of fasting is self-denial for spiritual focus, which can take various forms. This week, if medically able, try a simple fast, perhaps skipping lunch one day or using that time to pray. Focus your prayers on an area where you need God's wisdom, His strength, or a breakthrough. Break your fast with a simple meal, thanking God for His provision both spiritually and physically. Remember, fasting isn't about impressing God or earning His favor. It's about positioning yourself to depend more fully on Him and to hear Him more clearly. As you practice this ancient discipline, you may be surprised by the spiritual clarity and renewed hunger for God that emerges when you say no to food in order to say more wholeheartedly yes to Him.